Kia ora everyone, this is Stitcher Wives, and we are here today on a beautiful 10th of January of 2025 from little Whakatane, New Zealand, Aotearoa. We are today going to record a whip parade. As we're at my home, we have seen that I have the chaos everywhere, and turns out it's probably predominantly going to be my whip parade.
Got a lot of whips.
All of the whips. So I have a kind of plan that we will follow, but as per usual, we probably will get highly distracted as well. Yeah, all good. So introductions. I'm Nancy. Hi. I started this channel about a year ago now, and it has morphed and evolved to be Stitcher Wives. So thanks for joining, liking, subscribing, commenting, all that sort of stuff.
I'm Christy. The
Hello.
end. That's it.
Ko Sarah Takawingwa. My name is Sarah. My pronouns are she, her.
Kia ora. So, whip parades. I have explained what a whip parade is to my friends here, and so a whip parade is usually just where you go through any of your works in progress. This is Flosstube, where we predominantly talk about cross stitching. Today I will also be showing some embroidery whips as well. I haven't counted how many I have, but that will be an easy count that I can do and probably insert here. And
Fuckloads. Beep loads.
And we will already, I can see that I haven't brought something over with me. So I am just going to walk over here and get some of my fully finished pieces. Not fully finished.
I forgot my face moisturizer.
Oh my
Makes
goodness.
you feel any better. No one's perfect, Nancy.
No, but you know, I got them out and I laid them down and then I left them on the far side of the lounge.
Done a lot of preparation. Yeah.
Well, I thought I would show one of the projects that I did show in my first ever Flosstube, which was also a whip parade. It was a gorilla, and I have now finished it. It is not fully finished because I still need to wash and frame it. But this here is a gorilla. It will probably look better from further away. So it was a Pick to Pat, which is an online website that you can put a picture into and it will turn it into a cross stitch pattern. So I had done this from a freepick.com is where I got the image of a gorilla, and then I picked to patted it and chose one that had quite a few colours. I can't remember how many, but kitted it up in DMC and then stitched it. This is a gift for my friend's son. It's going to be for when he was, born. He's now 8, I think. So, I'm doing well. And also, originally, it wasn't going to be...
It's going to be a beautiful 21st.
It really is. It wasn't going to be cross-stitch.
Maybe 18.
But now it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is its frame. It will eventually get laced and framed and look lovely. I just need to learn how to wash these things. The next thing that I will talk about is... I'm just going to go all my fully finished.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're
cool.
just here to witness your brilliance.
Yeah, cool. So the next thing I talked about in some of my floss tubes, it was like a sneaky project that I was working on. It is a thistle. So this I entered into the national exhibition that was held in Dunedin in
John.
Was it July? I think it was July.
It was earlier
in
time.
Yeah, in school holidays of last year. So I again used Pick to Pat to turn this into a cross stitch pattern. It was the design or the outline was given to us, and then you got to do it however you liked. So stitch it how you like. First time I'd ever entered into an exhibition, or not exhibition, but a national exhibition. Yeah, and look, this is my lacing on the back.
Very nice.
Yeah, first time doing it, so probably overkill, but hey. And I have no idea what I'm going to do with it now. Maybe sometimes it will hang on the wall, maybe it won't. I don't know. But
Has
yeah.
your family Scottish?
No.
Oh, my dad is.
I don't think so. Maybe we gift it.
Yeah, give it to my dad.
Yeah, we'll do that. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad. I didn't make this.
But you're allowed to watch our channel.
You're allowed
Maybe
to comment.
You're allowed to comment,
Dad.
It might end up in the post. It can hang on your wall. And now the next thing that was finished, it's not fully finished either, but the stitching is finished. This was from a class
It's
that
so
I did
pretty.
while I was at conference in Dunedin. I did Joe Dixie's blackwork class. So this
Shout
was
out to Joe Dixie.
Oh yeah, hi Joe. And this was an introduction to blackwork and shading. So we had an image at the beginning of the class, so the monstera leaf, and then we could shade it how we liked, and then we put it onto the fabric. So lots of tacking, and then using a blackwork pattern, we've stitched it in a way that gives it dimension through shading. So this is my first ever one, and I know I would change things doing it again. It is a style that I enjoy doing and will probably do more of. But yeah, we will see where that takes me, because I have a lot of whips, and who knows when I will do some more. But yeah, this is on a, don't know what count linen, but it's an even weave linen, and it's just one thread, mostly one thread of DMC 310, and sometimes it is two threads to give it its depth and dimension, but the same pattern throughout. So those are my fully finished from the year, or finished from the year. The next one, I should tick these off as I go. Maybe I should have had a
very
highlighter.
satisfying to tick them off.
There you go.
I've got a highlighter in my boot.
Oh, well, we'll leave it there, eh?
Okay.
Alright. I probably have one on the floor, but we'll leave it there
I think
too.
there's a cat food container on the top of the fridge that has mist pens.
Okay, well, also we'll leave it there. So my next project is a saga, which is Long Dog Sampler. I started this one in November or December 2023. I showed the start of this on my first ever WIP parade. If I am organised, I will find a photo and it will be inserted at some point in time of this video.
Yeah.
Right here. Oh, cool. And I have stitched on this quite a bit this year. I am working on Ada fabric. It is a light blue or baby blue, and it's 18 count. I'm doing 2 strands of Silks for You PR147 on this one, and this is where I am at.
She a big.
So I've got all the way to the top left hand corner, and that's just my tacking thread.
Oh, I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's my tacking thread. I was making sure that the fabric was big enough at the beginning, because that would be horrible. And then I've worked my way all the way down
That'd
to
be
the
a
bottom. It would really be a saga.
Cheers.
And then this is what I've done so far. So
That's Lionel.
Lionel the lion.
Mm.
Up here, who's Lionel?
Lionel.
So I have stats for you on this one.
It's so tidy
break
on the
it down.
back as well.
So
Yeah,
tidy.
you guys
Look
keep
at
looking
it.
at it, and
It's
feel free
beautiful.
to show the people.
You're a real
more.
OG.
There you go, and I will give stats while you guys are looking and showing the people.
That way we can get it in.
You
If
can.
go landscape.
Oh.
Let's go.
Makes less sense,
Way less sense.
but you see the coverage.
But also, my stitching path, does that make any sense? Like, I'm just kind of everywhere. Anyway, there's all the stories behind that. So I have not got my last year's stats or even my this year's stats. So in all my
Squirrel?
levels, oh wait, here's some organisation on
squirrel?
this card.
Is that a squirrel?
It's
or would you
totally
say it's
a
a
squirrel.
mink?
Oh, I think it's
A
squirrel.
vole?
Oh, I don't know.
A
Rodent?
marmot. It's a rodent. Oh, seahorse.
Here's a seahorse.
I see a
Silhouette.
So some of my stats that I have now, hopefully I'll put in whatever it was last time I did a WIP parade, but we're at 27.72% of the project complete, which is
Back.
29,039 stitches. I currently haven't done any of the back stitching. I didn't work out until recently that there's quite a bit of back stitching in this project, and that was only because I was looking at the PDF with Pat and Kiefer, which is the app I use. It doesn't show back stitching, so one day maybe, but I thought my plans, I'll talk about plans in a different video, never mind that.
Good call.
Yeah.
Sensible.
Yeah, but I've done a good amount on that. My goal on this one in particular was to do it in 4 years. So being that this year I've got to 27.72% is working on track. So I might beat Julian with the bet if we made a bet on things. So yeah, that's Saga by Long Dog Sampler.
beautiful.
So that's now my oldest project when it comes to cross stitch projects. Let's be real, I have many others. Should we move into the next one? My next one is called Other Worlds. So this is a Riolis kit. I got this kit for Christmas in 2023 and I started it soon after, or maybe January of 2024. It is a paper pattern. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thanks. So that we can see nicely without all the light coming through. I need to move my margarita. So this is a paper pattern. It's a Riolis kit. The threads are an acrylic wool blend, and it is sometimes blended threads where you use two different colours blended together to give it the dimensions and texture. It also almost sits a little bit like a tapestry, being I think it's probably the wool content of the thread that
it does
that.
look quite furry. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Also, I stitch with a cat who adds her own fibres to mine as well. Thanks, Kat. I started this with Royal Rose because this is my first ever full coverage projects that I started. So I was trying different techniques that people talked about, and it was very like, it was pleasing to see the progress come together like that. But then I don't like leaving threads hanging about and parking them because then they got all...
It's quite chaotic. I know people do it, but it stresses me out a little bit.
Me too. Stressed me out too much. So then I started to work the thread in, and then I saw some people on Flosstube, quite a few different people who work on a diagonal, so the parking method as well, but on a diagonal. And so I started that for this one, but decided that, okay, I'll work on a diagonal just to see the progress build, but I'm going to work the thread out into the next stitches until that thread's done, just so it's tidy.
And this is a Riolis?
Yeah.
Did you buy it online?
I bought this one through the Fox Collection magazine. Well, you know, we'll pretend I didn't actually buy it, but the family did for...
from work, so I'm just going to be a second.
Okay. But yeah, it was from Fox Collection, but you can buy Riolis kits online. I've bought Riolis kits through Etsy. Not that I've started them, but yeah, that is Other Worlds. And stats, I will make sure to put in whatever was there last time, but I think there was about 2,300 stitches last year with the start photo, and then now we're probably doubled that, I would say. But because it's paper pattern, I haven't actually been counting my stitches, so we'll just see photo progress.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate your organisational skills here? Like, there's quite a lot of... I'm impressed with this.
Well, we talked and joked about me needing to do a spreadsheet.
Quite thorough.
But I don't have that program on my new computer, so
and then,
I haven't.
Also...
Oh yeah, I thought I should start project cards a while ago, and then I started new projects and forgot to start new project cards.
I love that. I love it.
But I feel like this is a good way to track it. And then when I record things, I can do the new line. And
yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. So that's my new thing.
You're going to whip up a storm. You really need
you need
something. Yeah.
Something for sure. Now my next one, I don't know if I'd started it. I might have already started it at the first ever WIP parade I did. It was the Heaven and Earth design stitch along for 2024. Little Rainbow Dragon is the one that I chose to do. The artwork's by Sheena Pike, who's since retired, and Michelle Sayata from Heaven and Earth Designs charted it. This was the challenge through the year, was to complete the whole thing, to get all the extra patterns for free plus 2 off the website. I resigned myself to the fact that I wasn't going to do the whole thing, but I could work towards the kind of second prize, which was 4 full pages to get all the other charts from the stitch along. So there were 10 in total, so I've got 9 free charts that were only released for the stitch along and the kind of portions that they were released. And this is how far I got.
It is beautiful.
So another full coverage piece, I tended to work a page at a time, and then if I was working on a thread that needed to be worked in, I would try and stitch it in. There's like one part thread up here, and the only reason for that is that I needed to, I don't think it's down until down here somewhere, and I needed to move into the next page to make sure I got the 4 full pages by the end of the year. So I have done that. It is currently just on a holiday because I may have started the next stitch along, but that's okay. It will get worked on, it will get framed and put in my kids' room, and it is beautiful.
Made huge progress on that.
You
were home,
absolutely worked your tits
when
off.
you were home.
Yeah.
Unwell.
Yeah,
when
actually
everybody
unwell
was
and
sick,
everyone
eh?
else was
Yeah,
unwell, and yeah, we all took turns. I love that for the family life.
Welcome back.
Sorry. I've missed a dragon.
Oh,
Just a
you did.
dragon?
Yeah, and we finished talking about the other worlds. Yes, but I can tick off the dragon. Christy also mentioned how organised I am. Oh, except I forgot to tell you about the dragon. We're at 53.76% complete.
I remember when she got to 50.
You were here. So that's a total of 32,662 stitches on the dragon.
Have a little sip.
Have a little sip, drink some margarita.
Oh, that's tart.
Zesty one. Zesty.
I made it, so I can criticise that.
I quite like it. I'm gonna get a straw though.
Oh, I
because I'm
don't
much
dislike it.
faster
I'm okay with it.
drinking
It's
with a
gone
straw.
straight to my head already.
So there's some stats on the little rainbow dragon. I'm gonna get a straw. Do you want to show one of yours just to mix it up a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Go on, Sarah. You show one of
Left or
yours.
right?
So this is we know that I like to op shop and I love the bargain. So it was after I moved back to New Zealand, so it was after 2017, but before 2020. I found this full kit, untouched, like all done up at an op shop for like $10. And it's it's an Australian company, Country Threads. It's designed by Fiona Jude, and she's a real one. So thanks, Fiona. It's beautiful. I love flowers. If you can see my tattoos, you know that. I love Australian flowers. So it's a beautiful waratah and a protea and kangaroo paw and all sorts of little orchids, and it reminds me of my sleeve a little bit. So I started it 5 to 7 years ago, and then I stopped because I did a miscount and I got annoyed and I was going around in circles. So, but once we got back together doing this, I was like, I should find it and do it. So, actually made some progress. Before I started it again, I'd done the reds and the lower white and green, but so all that upper green I did in December. So I feel like I actually made some real progress with that. And then I had decided that I was going to work on that every time we did stitching. I was going to work on that. That was going to be my one cross stitch project this year. But Nancy is wonderful, and one evening while sitting in her lounge, she bought Deadly Aquarium for all of us to do. So I started it, and we'll get into that soon. But that's a really pretty native Australian flower project that I'm working on, and it's going to be one of 2 cross stitches I'm doing this year that aren't for selling at the markets or commissions. This is just pour moi.
Nice.
All right, Nancy, must be time for another one.
Must be, or 10.
Another few.
Perhaps, I don't know, 5 was it? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 so far. So let's do another
That's
4,
so
and then maybe you
pretty.
can show another of yours. So this next one is a long dog sampler. So same family as Saga. It is called Fish and Ships, and I have been stitching this on a navy Ada. I believe it will be an 18 count because that's kind of my go-to. It was in stash though, so it might be 16. I'm not sure because I pick these things up at D-stashes. It is in DMC Accrue, and I'm doing 2/1 full cross. I am currently at 9.23%, which is 1,519 stitches. Also have not done any of the back stitch on this yet. So I will probably do this similar to Saga, where I will try and complete a page, and then I will do the back stitch. But we'll get to that eventually. This was started in May of 2024. Yeah, that is my start for fish and chips. My next one was also a May start.
Do you remember the song Fish and Chips makes me want to lick my lips?
I think I remember that from childhood.
Asking for a friend.
Okay, good. Was it just,
Continue.
did your family write it?
It was my dad.
Your mum
Dave,
told me
you're
to-
bloody famous, mate.
Was it also like the zoo song? Did they sing that one
Zoo
too? Going to the zoo.
Oh yeah, but what about we had this on vinyl. It was like he went to the zoo and said, I saw a bird in his tuxedo. No, that's not what you see at all. That's an animal people call a penguin. I see, but it still looks like a bird in his tuxedo to me.
No, we don't know.
No.
That's
Bingo.
all you, mate.
Bingo, Sarah sang. Okay, this one, let's get back to cross stitching.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, this one here is the start to Enchanted Realms. It was a caterpillar.
From our friends at Caterpillar. Come on, guys, send us a kit. We love your work.
Well, I started some of the work, but not a lot. So this is it was a stitch along called Enchanted
So
Realms.
cute.
I got the kit. The kit came with all of the fabric, the floss. I got a needle minder, which is super cute as well. So it's the start of a dragon. It's not a complete dragon.
Serpent flambé. A little flaming snake.
Is what Sarah's decided it's called in
In my
French.
pidgin French,
Apologies to all my friends who actually speak French.
Oh,
je
suis désolée.
This is stitched on a moss green 16 count Ada. I'm using the DMC threads, which are charted 2/1, and I am at probably about 355 stitches if I haven't stitched on it since May, which is probable. And that's another of my whips.
Watch me whip. Sorry,
Don't
it's been in
worry.
my head the whole time and I held it in.
We're now moving into the next one.
Oh, cute.
This here is a May start as well. I did mania when you do something a bit manic. So for me, my manic thing was to
Feels
start
really
multiple stitching
Familiar.
projects.
Yeah. That's
Um,
the pattern.
So this one is an LGBT gnomes pattern, and then I've modified it to put my name in the beanie because I thought this would be a cool name badge. Except then I realised the size of it, and it was going to be like a breastplate. So then I've decided it's now probably going to become a diary cover or something. So it will have my name
Yeah.
on the diary cover, and hopefully it will look cute. So this one is the patterns by flosstube.com. I might have got it from Etsy. It's on 18 count, I think 18 count. Maybe it's bigger than that. Maybe it's like a 16 count.
It's bigger than 14 anyway.
It feels like
Yeah,
Or is it 14?
smaller.
it's 14,
Maybe it's 14.
Isn't it?
Might be 14 count.
Have a
Let's
look.
change that. I'm not counting things
It might
today.
actually be.
I'm saying it's something.
I think it's
big.
bigger.
Oh,
Is this
goodness.
14?
This is 14.
Oh, maybe it's 11. I don't know. It's Ada of
It's
some
large.
description, and it's quite large
Hmm.
in its holes. So I'm using DMC threads on this one. I am using what I've got in our master kit, which is a pillowcase full of floss drops with threads on them. And so I've pulled some of them out and stuck them in a different bag, not in the pillow slip, which is probably part of the problem why I then keep ordering more, because
What
I
word were
think
you
I don't
using
have it.
before?
I don't know.
Mania?
Mania,
Oh.
mania. That's how this started. And This is at 42.8% and it's 1,166 stitches. So this is actually a
So
nice...
it's mostly a hat.
Mostly a hat, and it's almost halfway there. And if I probably stitched on this for all of a week, that I probably could finish something like this if I had stickability. But I do not, and that is a whip. Do you want to see my next whip?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My next whip is teeny tiny as well, and I started this in Mania. This is a 2024 Reading Goal bookmark pattern. It is paper pattern by Sophie O'Neill or the Stir Crazy Crafter. They must have got it off of a website or an Etsy or something. And so far, I have the bookshelf, which is on a piece of scrap Ada. Gonna guess the count? Maybe 18.
16.
Okay,
14,
anywhere
16,
14,
18.
16 or 18. I'm not counting it.
A
to
rose
work it
by
out.
any other name would smell as sweet.
Tennyson. No?
Beatrix Potter, no, it's William Shakespeare.
Oh, I was
I thought you
close.
were taking the piss.
Me, take the piss. Oh.
We're not as
I am
cultured.
sensible.
Okay. Anyway, back to the whip. So this one is going to eventually be completed. It is a bookshelf. It's going to be a bookmark. I feel like it's a nice little size bookmark. And yeah, we'll see what we get done.
What's
on it.
going in the bookshelf?
I was going to put a duck in it.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Duck and a frog.
a duck and a frog. Oh my goodness, that's another story for another day. So that's page 1 of the
You're doing well.
craft.
You're doing well.
So we're moving into the final 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of my
the cross stitch.
cross stitch.
Yeah.
Shall I keep going, or do you want to
Please,
do one?
please.
Okay. Okay. So
I'm as curious as the listeners.
my next one is a Schitt's Creek sampler. This one is
Ooh.
from Boomerang Stitches or on Flosstube, the Hathaway Stitches. This is from the Etsy shop, and I started this in July of 2024. So if you watch Schitt's Creek, if you know Schitt's Creek, these are all little shitsisms from from the show. So we've got like a portion of David's sweater up there, the Rosebud Motel. We've got a couple of Alexis sayings so far, and there are more, and it will be beautiful. This is a real joy to stitch on because sometimes you need a little bit mindless block stitching. So there's beautiful design in it when it comes to the typography and the color selection and all that sort of thing, but it's also very calming to just stitch methodically a section of
Where you're not concentrating on where the stitches are going.
And you can see the progress quite quickly as
Yeah.
well.
Yep. And it's
Yeah.
cool because I blocked out this little part of the pale green, so I knew what I needed to stitch and the letters were already done. I could take it to work and just stitch
I love
in
that.
a break while people are talking with you and not feel like you need to pay attention. To this, not to the people. Sorry, paying attention to the people, not paying attention to my pattern.
Sorry guys.
Oh.
Hard way to find out.
In terms of stats for this one, it's on an 18 count white Ada.
Can we guess what the stat is about how far done it is?
Go. How far done do you think it is? Don't look at my paper.
12.
Okay, what's your guess?
10.
Well, Christy is closest. It's
9.
9.5%
Ooh, nice.
complete, and I have done
She wants the jelly beans.
5,078 stitches on this piece. I'm really curious to count up all the stitches I've maybe done in the year to work out
Oh, yeah.
how much
Of all of them
stitching.
combined.
Yeah, and then I'll work out that I could have finished a whole project. Probably.
What's the fun in that?
Exactly.
All right, Julian.
That's right. That's the last of my little cue cards, but I still have this one going. Do you want to do your next one? Because I probably have 4 more of these and then 4 embroidery pieces.
Do you want to go?
Do you want to go? Do you want to do your one, or shall I just keep rolling?
Well, I'll have a go. It's my first time at a whip parade, so I may need some guidance. I've been making the Autumn Queen design by Brigid Ashwood. and that is the chart. I've mentioned it before. 237 colours.
Was it a heaven and earth?
Yeah,
It was.
heaven and earth. Yeah. So, sorry.
All good.
This is
So beautiful.
I'll uncue snap it. Revealing all.
Did we ever get to the origin of that Q-Snap story? Was it a plumber?
How they was our assumption?
I don't know if anybody.
Did anyone research?
No,
I mean,
too busy stitching.
Too busy doing 45 projects.
I've got
Sorry.
slightly less than that. Hold on.
I was including your children.
Oh shit! I'm taking the whole thing apart. Okay, here's what there is so far. It's quite a substantially large project.
A butterfly!
I am up to how much percent? 11.54% of.
Ooh, that's a
Yeah,
hefty one.
it's massive. I had no idea that I was undertaking such a large project because of my complete non-understanding of mathematics and scale and how that relates to real life.
But also, who supported and enabled you
Well,
to
yes,
start something
I
like
saw the
this?
picture.
How ridiculous.
I saw the picture, which we will insert somewhere,
Oh yes, right
of
there.
the design, and I was just like, that one.
Were you with somebody to
Oh,
make that
could-
decision?
I do believe I was influenced
No way.
quite heavily by.
I can't imagine anyone to do
Who
that.
who would do that?
Who would do
Who would
that?
do such a thing?
But it's gorgeous, isn't it?
It's been great fun. It's been great fun.
We've
And
learned lessons like don't stitch drunk,
don't stitch drunk because that
or you'll unstitch for days.
doesn't end well. And also, I learned. It was my first time using a digital, like using an app to stitch with the pattern. So, yeah, big fan of that, like that. But now I have phone anxiety. If I lose my phone or it gets wet or something,
okay.
I'm like,
My
We'll have
pattern!
fuck all the photos. I'm like, my cross stitch pattern.
I will have to teach you how to export it.
Yes, thanks.
So that then you can save it in a drive.
Yeah.
Because Crafty Emily talked about this one time because she's had this happen to her, and it was a little bit like that, and it was a scary time. So she has encouraged everybody who has watched that Flosstube to please back up your patterns and your progress.
There's
you're a real
enough
one.
terror in my life. I don't need
Exactly. Worry about our
Really
stitching
love
progress. Yeah, and I'm also terrible at doing it. I've backed up one of my progress. It was the little rainbow dragon, but before I got to the past the 50%
To where you
mark.
were.
So probably I should do it as well. I should practice what I
Yeah,
preach.
well, you know, we do our best, don't we? I'm using DMC thread on that pattern. And what other stats can I give
Do
you?
you remember what count your fabric is?
I believe it
It's
is
a little
21. It's
Yeah.
21, I think.
Well, it might be, but 20 is
20
more probable.
something. When I bought the fabric, I took the pattern into the shop and showed the very helpful attendant,
What shop?
Jane's.
Thanks, James.
Janies. And
Jenny.
you can only buy it in 1 metre length, so I had to buy 2 metres of the fabric to
Tell him his dream.
to make it all fit on there. So it's got width and height in inches here.
I can
That's
work
okay.
it out. If you want.
We can insert
Yeah, we'll put
Sarah.
details maybe.
Nancy can do the
Yeah.
do the logic
We
on that.
can put in some numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting further along in it. And
Well, I mean,
You know?
you've got 11% in this year alone. Like
Maybe we should
because-
think
Did I
about
start this
aging.
year?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I
Last
only
year,
last year.
2025.
Oh, sorry, we're 2024 is when we started it. But in the last calendar year, from my first ever Flosstube I did, which was on
Gregorian
12.
calendar?
Oh no,
Edwardian.
so confused.
Peruvian.
Bananas?
Tachycardia.
That's just worse. Echolalia.
Tachycardia. It's me heart.
Echolalia. It's the
It's
word.
too hot in here. It's too hot in here.
Yeah, well, we've got the AC on, but we
You
don't.
know, it's
we've got
not-
it- no, it's not.
it's not a dry
It's
heat.
on screen.
It's not dry snow either, is it?
Dry snow.
Oh my goodness, peeps! There's lots of funnies happening because this is how we hang out. One day we'll make a bingo board, and you can then also
Play
laugh
along
at
at
us.
home.
Yeah,
Drinking game.
yeah. Well, we are. That might also be contributing to the heat.
Would you like a side tangent?
Always
Just a quick one.
go.
I've learned, and you guys need to come up to my house, that because in summertime, at the river by my house, the fish jump in the evenings. And I've learned that you can drink every time you see a fish, or every time you miss the fish, and then you become the fish. It's called Go Fish. The adult version.
Is this juxtaposition? Or
This is
this
tachycardia. Sorry, next one.
Tangent,
Go
tangent.
next
Shall we
one.
go?
Do next
Okay, we'll
one.
go. We'll do a next one. Okay, my next one is called a Quaker sampler, but a quacker sampler, and it is a quack along. So that's the hashtag for this one. The pattern says Star Parade on it. It was an Etsy purchase, or this one may have been an Etsy purchase from a friend that was then gifted to me. I started this in August, and the reason is because it is pretty. I am choosing to do it on Black Ada with DMC 973 as the yellow colour. This is a 16 count Ada, and I know this for a fact because of the packet it came in. I am currently at 3.17%, which is 500 stitches. So
Is that 500 stitches?
that is 500 stitches right there.
It doesn't look like it, does it? Or does
No,
it?
well it
No, it
doesn't.
doesn't at all.
It doesn't. It looks
looks
like
like
less,
49.
I reckon.
123 at the most.
But according to Pattern Keeper, it's definitely
What?
500.
Which way is you're
This is
showing
the
it the
top.
right way up?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is
There
the
was
top
some
corner.
debate.
It was a top left-hand start, and I will work my way through. So it's covered in ducks, which is why it's a quack along. So there's different ducks.
Can
but
you
it's
explain
also,
why? No, I was a joke.
I will
Oh,
not.
shut up.
There's just an
I
ongoing
refuse.
feud. It's now a ducking that turned into a frogging, and there is a feud. And I'm making a duck sampler. So it's a quacker sampler to be a play on words for a Quaker sampler. Quaker samplers often have lots of little motifs all over them.
Like Saga? No.
Maybe that's a sampler, but not Quaker.
Oh,
So
okay.
Quaker are kind of like repeating patterns.
Oh, yeah. Just in different sizes. or
Yeah.
something.
Like within in lots of different, I don't know, I'll show you some later, but this is my quack along, and it is going to be beautiful when it's finished. The next one that I will show you is a blackwork piece. So I started following some blackwork pages after I did my blackwork class last
The
year.
Monsterly.
Yeah, and then I decided I needed more blackwork in my life, and I saw
I think I
a
do.
stitch along. It was a Halloween stitch along that was released by the Steady Thread, and then I bought the pattern and the stitch along. So I got a release every week or 2 weeks or something. I forget exactly, but I only ever worked on the first release. So I have so far completed a quarter of the border, so I've done half of the top and half of the side, and I have outlined the first book on the first shelf. It is called Spooky Shelves, and it was the 2024 stitch along. I'm working on 18 count Ada, white Ada with one thread of DMC, 310 over 1, and that is all my stats for that so far, and it will look really pretty, and it will use different blackwork
It's really
It already
techniques.
looks pretty.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's quite, because it's a different pattern to crosses, but it's fun to try and work out the best stitch pathway to get not weird tension on your stitches. But yeah, it's a fun process.
I like it when you talk technical.
Okay.
I concur.
My next one, we're getting down to the last 2 of my cross stitch projects. It turns out maybe 3 because there's one I didn't write on here.
Down to the
You
one.
get down on the big drops.
And it's new. But this one here is going to be beautiful. This one is called Floral Afro Lady. It is Laser Arts Designs from Etsy. I started this one in November of 2024. It is a very small start with only 79 stitches. So showing you this doesn't really serve any purpose. The photo probably will show more. It is on a pink opalescent linen, I believe, that has been dyed. So it's a little bit mottled. It's either a 25 or 28 count as per the packet that I bought from a D-Stash.
Oh, I thought it was a bug. It was my cloth. It was my threads. Have I taken your doolies?
You might have one, maybe.
I mean, there's lots of doolies around.
Sorry.
All the distractions.
Sorry.
This is being worked 2/2 on, say, let's pretend it's 28 count, which is kind of like the same as if you
Pretty
were.
small.
The holes are, and the gaps between the threads.
Yeah, it's very tiny.
It is, but when you work 2/2, it counts like as if it's a 14 count, right? Because 28 divided by 2 is then 14.
Sure is.
Maths. Don't worry, Kirsty. Then I got on my mind because I watch other Flosstubers that work on pretty ladies and the likes, and they do their skin in a 1/1. So they use, it makes the skin look a lot more softer, rather than like the harsh nature of all the crosses. So I thought, oh, maybe I could be fancy and do that, and then I decided, no, this is the first time you're working on this count fabric as 2/2. Let's just do the whole thing like that, and then work out if your eyes can handle it. This is going to be beautiful when it's finished. And
It does feel like a young person's game.
The eye
28
sucking.
thread count.
Well, I feel like,
And it's just to magnify a person's game.
but also
Don't be
One of
ageist.
those head kits.
yeah, but also my eyes can handle it. I'm working on a 40 count
Don't
as well.
brag.
Oh, sorry, I won't be bragging. I'll show you
How's
that
your
one
pelvic
later.
floor?
Are you okay? Okay, I'll leave you over there.
I'm tacky.
You're tacky.
Sorry.
Okay, last one.
Oh,
start.
it's pretty.
Not last one, there's one more coming. But this is the last one I wrote down. This was started on Christmas Day 2024. This is a Dimensions kit that I got for Christmas. We'll pretend I didn't buy it myself and just one of the kids gave it to me. It's great. So this is the start of Indian Peacock. I've started on the top left hand corner, which is a floral number. There is both full crosses and half crosses, or turns out half crosses are also called continental stitch or tent stitch. Are the other terms for half crosses. This
I see.
yeah. So the reason this pattern uses it is to give it dimension and texture.
Just
Where-
same as that Australian one.
Yeah, whereas some people use tent stitch or continental stitch half crosses
For the whole
in their
damn
full
thing.
coverages. So yeah, like I find it weird, but it looks beautiful as well when they do it, and they just work out the number of threads they need to still fill the whole square enough that it doesn't look like it's missing
Ah, yes.
coverage. But yeah, so I don't know if I'm brave enough to ever try a full coverage piece. Like, can you imagine doing your, I don't know, I couldn't imagine doing a massive piece like your autumn lady.
Well, we were
with
talking
only
about
half
the
crosses.
techniques, right? So, because when I'm doing block stitching, or when I'm doing an area, I'll tent stitch
Yeah.
so that I get the intricate pattern done, and then I don't need to concentrate.
Yes, because you
So
just fill
I
in
do
all
it
the
for
backs.
So like when I do a section, whether it's whether it's block or whether it's pieces, as long as I can connect it, I'll do all tent, and then I come back
circle
again,
back
because then I
in.
can just
Yeah.
sit there and I'm not looking at the pattern all the time.
Whereas I
You're much more
do
methodical.
that, and I do all one leg
And then
on that row,
yeah.
and then I come back and then I do the next row.
Whereas I might do a few hundred
Yes.
in tent and then go back again,
Yeah.
like that, for example.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
So it's cool that we've all got different stitching patterns and pathways. And
Everyone
stuff,
is
isn't
unique and accepted.
It's so cool.
Except you. No.
it?
I was going to say a random name, and then I was
Don't
like,
do
shots
that.
fired.
Yeah, don't do that.
All 14 of our watchers will be upset.
Don't do that. Talking about 14, this is 14 count Ada. And,
Nice segue.
and I am using everything from the kit. I believe it is stranded cotton. I am not sure of the brand, it does not say. and I am not sure how many stitches I've done because it's a paper pattern and I am not counting.
I think it was
even.
DMC.
Is it? Maybe, but it's not DMC numbers. I don't think it doesn't look like
I'll just
DMC
go fuck
numbers.
myself.
Someone
Just
did it.
quietly.
I thought it was DMC when we were trying to get it out of those paper. Remember we were getting it out
Yeah.
of the weird.
Yeah, but I don't think it is. Maybe it is. I haven't made a working copy yet to highlight it off. So this is the first time I've ever been stitching on something without marking it off as I go, because I'm usually a pattern keeper diehard.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And now I am not.
Now you're on the
But
list.
I will eventually make a working copy. I might visit my friend at the library, a simple librarian who might copy the work for me.
Simple being Oh,
FYI,
you should have
that's
seen
Sarah.
us this morning. We were all dour. Now we are revived through the power of the stitch and bitch.
Yes, it just takes a minute, and then we get back into our groove. I'm just going to collect my last cross stitch WIP, which is a new start this year. Actually, it wasn't this year. It was the 28th of December because the pattern got released a little bit early. This is the 2025 Heaven and Earth Design Stitch Along. I am working on Jelly World is the pattern I chose, which is beautiful jellyfish. I have not DQ snapped it, and I will not be. And this is how much I have done so far. So it is at, I didn't write any numbers down, and we're recording on my phone, so it is at all of the details now coming to you live in text. We have had the first installment, which is 4 full pages. This one is larger than last year's one, so larger than the Rainbow Dragon. The goals have changed, so I think this one's about 90,000 stitches complete, whereas the Rainbow Dragon must only be about 60,000, so it's 30% bigger. It is, instead of 4 full pages to complete, it's now 6 full pages to complete to get all the extra patterns from the stitch along.
50% bigger.
Is it?
60 to 90,000 is 50% bigger.
Is it? Okay. Yep, there
Sorry.
you go. So it's heaps
Sorry.
bigger than what I thought. Sarah's good with math. Me, average. Christy just can't clear.
What maths?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Sorry
is
for
our scale.
interrupting you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Learning things today. It is. This is the first page that I'm working on in this section. So my thoughts is to try and put in all the stitches I need to at the start of each month. I think at this stage I'm tracking pretty well. I might be at about 13 or 14% of the
Project
first
itself,
installment.
yeah.
It's interesting how you've popped over here to do one and up there, and
Yeah.
the stitches seem quite spread out on that one. Is
But
that just part of the
I
design,
think
or
it's it's, or it might be of where the colours are, but it's also the way that I
you
stitch.
like to stitch that way?
Well, so what I'm doing is because we've only got the first 4 pages of however many pages, like 16 maybe, is that I am stitching one colour from up here in the top corner, and then I take that colour all the way through this page until it's complete, or if I've still got thread on my needle and I can reach wherever the next one is, I go
You
there.
for it.
So that's, I think, called cross-country stitching, which is why my back looks like
It looks
that.
a bit like a
Country.
Country?
It looks a bit like one of those maps of the stars
Oh, yeah.
in space. You know how they
Yeah, but astrological.
yeah.
Yeah, so then I pick the next colour and I go through. Whereas, we've seen royal rows and we've seen diagonals, and that's not really how I like to stitch a full coverage piece. So yeah, this is my focus piece at the moment. And that is all of my cross stitch. Would you like to do your next cross stitch that you're actually working on, Sarah, and then I will do embroidery?
Alright. So as alluded to previously, we have been talking about getting the Deadly Aquarium by Lola Crow Cross Stitch for as long as I've known pants, and we kept putting it off, and we kind of want all of her stuff or their stuff because it's amazing. But anyway, Nancy bought the Deadly Aquarium, so I started it last week, and I am very much in love with it and have not touched any of my commissions or read a book
Summer holidays.
or done anything productive.
Any housework.
Since
started
it was
your
Saturday,
fires.
just last Saturday, so this is at least a week ago I started it. Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Because I got the Jane's.
It was the
Friday afternoon. Friday afternoon I started it.
Exactly.
That's right. Saturday I wasn't feeling... Sunday I just stayed at home and stitched. I didn't go to the market. I wasn't feeling great.
No.
So
But
this
also-
is where we're at. So the Deadly Aquarium is sort of Insta famous in cross stitch circles. The goal was to get the frame of the aquarium done before I started any of the creatures, but I didn't have the thread that I needed, so I did the black frame. Then I did the white of the water surface at the top, the meniscus, if you will. And then because I had the black on the needle, I started the rays, which were fun and cute and fast.
Cool.
And again, so what I was talking about before is that when I tend to cross stitch, I did 10th stitch for the whole ray, and then I came back again. And because I find my return journey is a much quicker stitch path, because A, it's already mapped out, and B, I can figure out which way to go, map it, come back better. So yeah, it's a whole vibe. And what we discovered is when you buy the pattern, there's an information sheet on all the creatures inside it, and it tells you just how deadly they are.
Wow.
So cool.
So I'm really excited, and this piece is going to be mine, and it will be my first piece that I've ever framed for myself. I'm going to get it framed by Rich at the Framers in Whakatane. I have a bunch of his tattoos, and now I will have his frame when I finish this.
Cool.
Yeah, I really love it.
It's so gorgeous.
It's
I
really
love it.
cool. And it's
the
just like
fabric's
some of my
gorgeous.
favourite things, like the quirkiness of it and the kitschiness, and also the organisms. So, hooray. I was too impatient to wait for a dyed Ada, like a seaweedy one, but I found this one at Jane's in Whakatane, and it is 14 count aqua, and I'm happy with that.
It's really lovely.
I love it.
So nice.
It's less. I'm not a perfectionist, so there's like little imperfect stitches, but I'm quicker. I think I'm a quick stitcher because I'm not too worried about, I know that when I'm seeing the whole thing, like a wonky cross every now and then is not going to bother me. But I know that's the opposite to my team members. Like, they are really tidy and beautiful work. But that's why we work well together.
But also your work is still very beautiful. I can't see any
Anyone?
manky.
Or I did also sort of make a rookie mistake, because when I counted down, so for each time I just 10 stitched down, like what I thought was about the right amount by looking at the size of the fabric, and then kept going up the top and did the rest. And then I went through and counted and put pins, like pinned every 20, and left the pins in overnight. So now I have like whomping holes, but that's all right. By the time I actually finish it, wash it, iron it, it'll be fine. And actually, I like having them as a little reference.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
because
good
some
to
people
check
put
your
tacking threads in, like
yeah.
my ones.
Yeah.
Check your
So I have
rough
no
places.
idea what, I'm not using Pattern Keeper because I don't have an Android. So I'm just
Use a paper keeper.
colouring in with my pen, my Penidako.
So good.
Yeah, that's moi.
It's so beautiful.
Neat. Highly recommend.
So good.
Bye.
Shall I show some embroidery now?
Oui.
Go figure. Okay. On my next page, we now have
3
embroidery.
pages.
Yeah, you didn't see this
I didn't
one
see the
before.
third
No,
page.
no, you didn't. But
I'm
I
so-
quickly
still
wrote this
impressed.
down.
By the organisation, I think that's, yeah, it's great.
So we've got 5 embroidery pieces, let's say. There might be more. I may have found more when I wasn't writing them down. Who knows? The first one I'm going to show you is the Tui. This was a class that actually Christy and I did. The artist is Robin Hart. She lives in Auckland. She came and did this class with us. It is stump work. So it's a mixture of surface stitching techniques and stump work. This is, I'll show you the picture. So the Tui is the top one. Hopefully it's not too glary. I also have the Piwaka Waka and the Kiriru, which are the other 2 birds on this page, but I have not started them. They are just kits. But that there is the Tui, and that is the class that we did. So it is a range of different techniques. It is stump work, which is stitched pieces that come off of your fabric, so it's a 3-dimensional thing. So I so far have the Tui's body, so the bird's body, which will then get appliqued or somehow stitched onto the main fabric. I should show you the main fabric. So this is the main fabric here. It is I knew what the fabric was called just a little while ago, and now I've forgotten. I think it begins with a B.
Batik?
A batik? Yeah, it's a batik fabric. So it's beautiful blues, greens, quite my colours that I like a lot. And on here I've already drawn the branch, which I need to stitch. So it has the branch that the Tui then will sit on, and then the tail, which is the stump work or part of stump work. So it's got these little wires, and it's all stitched, and then I've chopped, which is why we only use sewing scissors to chop fabric and thread, not plastic things, because you have to chop extremely close to your stitching. So it's like is it a buttonhole stitch or something, quite tidy along the edge. What's the other one? Blanket stitch, something like that is how we did the edging of that. And then the wires will go into the fabric and be attached on the back, and then the tail will come off, lift off of the fabric. I then also have the Tui's beak, which was stitched with rayon, which is, I can't even tell which is the good side. I think that's the good side. So rayon is a silky type thread, which is horrendous to stitch with. So you need to, like when I stitch with it, I wanted to have really short pieces of the thread so it doesn't separate, because it starts like unraveling. So I have the bird, the tail, the beak, and then I have 2 kowhai flowers. So these will be on the branch that the Tui's sitting in. So Tui's are very much attracted to kowhai trees with these beautiful yellow flowers. And these were also stitched with rayon and stump work, so they've got the wire inside on the edge and all the careful stitching around the edge.
Is the rayon only in the centre, or the rayon's on the edge?
No, rayon's in the centre. I think it's a DMC thread on the edge.
It's so detailed and so fine.
It's bloody impressive.
It makes me, when I see this stuff, it makes me question my how far I'll be able to go into embroidery because of the finiteness that you guys do.
I never did this before this class. Like it was all, I learnt it in the class, and then I took it to Stitch Tui one time, not last year, the year before, and we sat and did it. Someone else who did the class was there, so I kept asking her questions.
Were you annoying?
No, not regular amount of me, but yeah, it is.
So probably not.
So probably not at all. Obviously. Remember? My mum said.
My mum said.
No, she didn't. Oh, anyway.
Was that noise?
That was just me. So that is my first one. So that's the Tui from Robin Hart's class. If you're in New Zealand, if you ever get the opportunity to do one of her classes, she was a really good teacher in terms of showing you things and explaining them to you.
And she demonstrated it however many times it took. And,
Robin Hart, would you like to come on this channel?
And then that was 2021. So what are we? 2025. So it's a WIP from a while ago. And
what's your oldest WIP?
Probably that one is my 2021.
Okay.
Because Saga was only 2023.
That was pre-baby.
This, yeah, pre-baby. I didn't know I was pregnant with Maeve
Probably,
yet.
she was probably
I was
in there,
maybe already pregnant and I
floating around
wasn't
a little
aware.
bit, but maybe not attached.
Then
Little jelly
this next whip I'm showing you is post-baby. So this one is a Takahe by Kate Longley.
And this
It
is some fucking detailed work.
This is
This
long
is
and short
incredible.
is the technique.
This is.
So I did this at the 22 conference. So that is an image of what it will look like or kind of look like when it's done. I did this class at the Tauranga conference in 2022. Maeve would have been 4 or 5 months old at the time, and my sister was so kind to take time off work to look after her and just bring her to me for feeds as needed. And this was a 2-day class, and this is what I have done. It's still in the hoop, and I have done the tail feathers and some of the lower feathers and the feet, and then I have done the beak and the eye. And so mostly it's long and short stitch, which is just a single strand of thread stitching long and short stitches or long and longer stitches. And the technique is like, I guess like shading, if you were only shading with a single brush stroke or a single line stroke.
And there's 2 layers of fabric. It was one of the things, my first questions was like, why is there 2 layers of fabric?
Por qué no los dos?
Yeah, so why? And, do you want me to explain why? So the reason why is because it's quite dense stitching when you're shading with threads. So even though you're only using one thread on repeat, it still gets quite thick and heavy. So you can see the back, just kind of how messy and I don't know how dense the stitching is compared to the front. So for the like cottony nice fabric to hold that without distorting, you just give it a little bit of reinforcing and strength, which is why it's then got a piece of calico in there too. So yeah, the picture is fading with my erasable marker on the front, which shows how long it's been since I've stitched on it, so I might have to re-outline it. But yeah, it will wash off, and once I've stitched it all, which will be one day. So that is my Takahe.
It's bloody lovely.
I don't think I know. I also bought the kit to do the kōtare, which is a kingfisher, in the same technique, which is one that she also designed. One of the ladies at Guild has just started her one recently, and it is lovely. I'm just seeing if I've got the picture. I do, I've got a picture in here. So that's what the kōtare will look like when I get to that one. I think I will try and finish this first though. Yeah,
It's a good call, Nancy.
I'm thinking one,
I think you've made
At
a
a
good
time.
decision on that one.
but we can talk about that more in plans on another video, because this is again a bit long, peeps. Thanks for sticking around. We're almost there. My next one is my mystery stitchery or my Mitchery from 2023. This was the fundraiser for the Dunedin conference, which happened last year. This is a sampler piece, which is on I think this is like a 32 count linen, which is not even weave, and you can tell it's not even weave because the weave is thick and thin and uneven. So we got given the tartan as the first design, and there were suggested colours which I stitched it in, and then when I realised everything else had to come and work off of those colours, I didn't like the colours, so then I undid the colours of the tartan and I restitched the tartan in colours I liked, and then I started some of the other pieces in the order that they were released. So I've got the waves, and then that one with all the colours is Wessex stitch. So last WIP parade I showed this, and the Wessex wasn't finished, and now the Wessex is finished. So that's this one. Yeah. And there's still many tapped out areas with more pattern to go in. All different kind of counted techniques of descriptions that I can put in there, but I have not yet. So
does the pattern tell you based off this tartan where to put the other colours, or have you just
I get to choose. So it's like a black and white pattern.
Yeah, and then you just figure out where you want it.
And some of the patterns were well explained, and others I had to talk to people that had practiced doing them before or done the stitching before within the guild. because I couldn't, as a beginner, I couldn't work out what to do. So we will see what this year's Mitchery brings with descriptions, but I'm sure, so this year's Mitchery, we know who the designer is, and so I think she'll be quite accessible or contactable in terms of being able to support through, whereas with this one, we didn't find out who the designer was until the very end, like it was a proper mystery. Yeah. So that's me Mitchery from 2023 that will maybe one day get worked on. There's a lot of threads in here because I bought or found lots of threads that might that might work with it. Yeah. So there's the blacks, the whites, the greens, the pinks, all the colours of the rainbow.
Now, just a quick note, off screen, the time is, Nancy, 12:56, and I know you're expecting a phone call and some information. So just so you know, to keep an eye on your phone.
Me? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go quickly. We've got 2 to go. Last 2 and we'll say bye. So right now we've got a blackwork name badge, which is on a 40 count linen.
Really?
I'm doing 1/1.
Shit, that's really fine.
1/1.
So
because my name badge of the gnome just ended up being too massive, I then decided I should go small. And so I've tacked out my name, my pronouns, she, her, and I am stitching around and up to those things, so they will be blank. And then I might stem stitch the outside of those just to give it definition. So this is my name badge. I had intended to finish it before Stitch Tui last year in October.
About 5 years ago.
So I will.
You can't rush these things.
It's on me WIP Go board for this year, and that's me name badge. And the very last piece of embroidery I'm going to show you is Preening Peacock, which is a class I did at 2024 conference with Sue Swan. Cutchwork is the technique, and cutchwork is an Indian style of stitching. I have Indian heritage, so I was drawn to it from that sort of element and component. This is what it will look like complete.
Wow.
Just the peacock in the middle. The other outside part is her fully finished. She made it as a flap on a bag, and then did the same technique on the little outsidey part of the bag, and it looks gorgeous. So it was a 2-day class. The first day there was a lot of practice of all the techniques we will use, and then the second day I got this much done, which is the smallest of the feathers of the peacock. So that is 4 passes of the thread in the same loop, but a different path each time to give it the pattern.
To make it sort of circular.
Yeah. So you've got like a crisscross pattern first, and then another crisscross pattern going slightly different the next time.
Wow.
Then you do a threading pattern third, and then you do an alternate threading pattern the other way, which is how you get it like that.
And the pattern's on the back, which I find really interesting as well.
So the pattern is on the back with all the markings that you must do to get it how you want it to be, and so you stitch on the front but you refer to the back. And the recommendation was that I should return home from conference and stitch on it daily, even a little bit, just so you don't lose the technique. And I haven't stitched on it since. I'm a terrible student and I've probably forgotten all of the technique, but I have a doodle cloth and I will practice before I restitch on this
like
project.
riding a bike. It shall come back to you.
Cloth?
A doodle cloth is me hoop over here.
Apart from the obvious.
This is me doodle cloth. It's a bit of calico.
Oh, that's your doodle.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cute.
And then it's just my practice of all the stitches.
Show the
So,
good folk at home.
This is my doodle cloth, and I've just practiced the stitches. So there's different stitches as well that I didn't get to, but I've practiced them on here, so that then I can do them on
And they're
the
in
next
different
one.
colours, so you can see the process.
Yeah.
Bloody
Nice.
night, bloody night.
Yeah. Yeah, I also took lots of photos, so I probably should make a folder of that so that then I can do it. And those are my whips. And that's our whip parade. So thank you for coming on this journey with us. I will be editing and uploading this in due course. And do we have anything else to say to the lovely people? No?
Just that. You're lovely people.
Yeah. And thanks for watching us, getting this far. You're welcome to hit subscribe if you want to see any of our other
The madness.
natterings, chaos, madness as we do more videos this year. Because we'll probably keep doing them. I like it for a record of what we're doing and gives me good
It was nice to meet
reasons
Belinda
talk.
the other day at
Yeah.
Stitch Makers in Tauranga.
Yeah, she's lovely, hey?
Lovely.
Yeah,
If you are
so
in
helpful.
Breton, go there for your stitching needs.
Yeah. Well, that's all for us for now. This video will probably be posted before our plans for 2025. So happy watching, and if you want to see our plans, check that one out too. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Ka kite.
Ka kite.